Hi, everyone. Today we're going to talk about some healing and reading sessions. Now, they're all, I do all my sessions distant, and I don't want to know anything about who I'm connecting with or issues that you're dealing with if you're having a healing session. So let's start with this one. This was a healing session for a woman, and this is what she wrote. I just want to reach out to you and let you know that my healing was amazing. I never felt so much peace afterwards. I was pain-free for at least the rest of the day. In reference to the pain points, I'm going to say that my neck pain is most likely from my childhood. And that's what's interesting. I do see things that are from the past. So I knew that the root issues came from her childhood, and that was brought up. So she's acknowledging that. What was most profound to her during that session was brief moments in the background. The music almost seemed to have an echo deep into my soul. Like the vibration I felt throughout my entire body was something I have never felt before. And so I played this music. It's beautiful music. And I hear everybody say, I just love the music. I feel like it relaxes me. It just allows me to feel one with the music. The vibration she was feeling was the energy. And many times you'll get sedated by God's medicine, and they'll put the medicine in the arm, and you just feel like you're just relaxing, and you're so into the feeling of what are you feeling vibrational. That's all the energy that's coming through to you into your body. And then she goes, you mentioned my lymph nodes, my wrist, my knees, my legs. I couldn't believe it. I suffer from rheumatoid arthritis, and I have a great deal of pain in my hands, wrists, and knees. But more recently, she was diagnosed with stage 3/4 breast cancer, and it spread to her lymph nodes, which is what I had seen, and which is what I told her, and that I seen it in the clavicle bone, which was an interesting area for me to see it in. And she says it's now in her clavicle bone. And so she said, you definitely were spot on. Now, going back to that energy, when she was receiving the energy and she was feeling that vibration of the music, I was in awe too about that energy, because what was interesting with her session is I could feel it all the way around the body. And I can do that with most of my clients. I'll feel the energy around their body or over their body. I'll see it with my eyes closed. But with this one, I happened to feel the energy, and I'm like, wow, this energy is so strong. And I took my foot and I just pushed it down like you would be pushing your foot down on a gas pedal. So I moved my foot down and I felt it go, whoop. I felt it go through the energy shield that was around her. I was like, this is amazing. I'm in awe over this. So I did it again. And every time I put my foot through it, it went, and it was like, I was definitely tapping into that energy, what she was feeling, but I was feeling it too. And I couldn't wait to email her and tell her, like, this was so intense that I actually felt it when I put my foot through that field that was around you. So I was amazed. I was just absolutely amazed. I haven't had that happen again since, where I feel if I put my foot through that I'm putting it through almost like an electrical fence. It's like you get a little zapped. And I could feel it go woo. As soon as I pushed my foot down, it was like I could feel it going through. I was just amazed by it. So now I'm going to share a story about a reading session. This reading session was just amazing. I had a session with them before, and it's in my book, Soul to Soul. And the mother had lost a daughter, but she has a daughter here. So the daughter felt like she lost her best friend. And in that story, what happened was so profound. I mean, I ended up going shopping with them, and the daughter would teach them how to go shopping. It was, I thought, there's no way that we can have a better session than that one. So I was a little nervous. I said to the daughter in spirit, okay, you blew that one out of the water. How are we going to even compare to this one? Are they going to be disappointed? So I released myself, my humanist aside, and said, okay, it's up to you. And so we had a three-way call because the mother and daughter live in far away from each other. And that morning, I was explaining to them that I saw feathers, but one looked like a dove feather, and one looked like a quail feather. And I just continued to go on and said I saw these white flowers, specifically white. And then I was saying, I know this is weird, but this one's about gummies, gummy bears. She's talking about, oh, get the vegan ones. They're okay for you. It's all fine. Then I saw an infinity sign. And I said, that's to keep your faith, but to know that she's always with you. I saw the love of two puppies, that there were two. And I wrote that down. So many times in my reading sessions, what I have is a piece of paper like this, and I just scribble. And throughout the morning, I'm just scribbling. I'm having a relationship, a conversation, whatever they want to give me. If I go on a walk and they show me the feathers, I pay attention before that session takes place. And a dragonfly did come through that day. And so I was like, okay, write that dragonfly down. Love for two puppies. What are the two puppies for? Then she showed me water, sand, and beach chairs. So I took it as they were going on a vacation and they were going to travel together. I saw the color orange. So I wrote the color orange down. I heard peppermint as in peppermint candy. And then I heard her say little monkeys. And I said, what do you mean by little monkeys? And she says, I call the kids my monkeys, my little monkeys. And so she left a daughter behind, but her sister has children now too. And she just wanted to let them all know that she calls them her monkeys. Okay, so I go through all of this one by one, and I said, let me just read you everything that I have on that I experienced with her prior to the session. And so I did exactly what I just did now. And this is when we went into a conversation. And what I like to do is say, okay, let's have a conversation where we feel like we're all very present. We're present together as one. We're all sitting around a table having lunch, tea, whatever it may be, but that we're together. Now, this sister daughter in spirit she blew it out of the park again. I couldn't be more grateful. And I remember just having tears of joy with everything that was transpiring, because the feathers, the dove and the quail, thinking, okay, it's got to be one. Well, no, the quails was what the mom saw. No, the quails was what the sister saw, and the dove was what the mom saw. And the mom said, the sister said first, oh, well, the quails mean something to me. And she explained how they had found some quail feathers just the other day. And then the mom started laughing. She says, well, just yesterday when I called my sister, a dove flew in the house when we were talking about her. And I was like, what? The dove flew in the house? She goes, yeah. And then it just flew right back out. But we happened to be talking on the phone about her daughter. And so what she was doing is she was not only just giving one message to just the mom or the sister, she brought both through for them. And they were both different, so that each one would know who it went to. The infinity sign. The infinity sign was referenced to her sister. Her sister said, I bought an infinity sign bracelets for all the kids, the girls. And her daughters weren't wearing it, but her sister that's in spirit, her daughter, she noticed, wears it every time they see each other. So it was something that was very special to her daughter, and she knew it. So she brought that through. The dragonflies her son had seen that morning. The two puppies, it was kind of like I had my duh moment, because I had seen on Facebook, the mom had just adopted or took in two little puppies. And I wrote love for two puppies. I didn't even think anything about it. But then when the mom's like, yeah, I just got 2 puppies, I was like, oh, duh. Yeah, I remember that. But see how I wasn't putting my humanness into it. I was just saying, okay, this is what's coming through. The beach chairs in the sand and the water, they had just gone on a family trip and they had the most wonderful time. And as we were talking, discussing about that, her sister in spirit comes through and says, starfishes, starfishes. There's something about starfish. And they both laughed as that was kind of the highlight. The kids loved it because they were finding starfish in the water. The color orange. Okay, orange isn't something that is a color that you would think that you would paint with. But when we got to that topic again, I heard her sister pop through as, you're painting. Are you painting the girl's room? And then she started laughing. She says, okay, there's 2 things going on. I am painting this bathroom orange. And I actually told my children, I'm painting this, but as I paint this, I'm thinking of my sister. So that just shows you that at that same time that she's painting and having time with her sister telling her that, you know, I see this orange paint, I'm involved too. Her sister's thinking of her. So it was a true connection, made her feel so good. But then when I said painting your daughter's room, she was also painting her daughter's room. So she just was showing them that I'm very involved in your home. I'm very involved in the things that you do, even when you travel. So it's, you don't, people always say, like, what if I move and this was their home? Will they be upset with me? Say, no, they go with you. And they, like, look at this, they go with her on the vacation and they saw starfish. That's what she brought up. Peppermint. I said, somebody loves peppermint candy. Well, dad does. And so she wanted to bring a message through for her dad and kind of joke around with, like, I like peppermint candy too, or just giving him, like, teasing him that he likes the peppermint candy. Now, the big one, this was a big message when she said, I'm going to call the kids my little monkeys. That's when the mom was just like taken back, almost speechless. She said, when she was alive, she says, I'm not going to have any kids. I'm going to have monkeys. And everybody knows that that's what she would say. And so I think she even called her daughter, like, this is my little monkey. So by her saying this, they knew for sure that they were having a connection with her, because that was her saying. It was so spot on that there was no doubt, but we were all just laughing at that. So now we're having this beautiful connection. And I can remember at the beginning of the session, I could feel them, especially the mom, just sad, missing her daughter. And they were just very quiet. But at the end of the session, we were all laughing, we were all uplifted. And I remember the mom saying to me, and I remember crying at the end. She said, thank you, Debra. I got to spend the morning with both of my daughters. I do have to say there was another big one. It was the gummies. So we mentioned gummies. And she's like, they're vegan. There's vegan gummies out there. Well, her sister the night before had just said, you know what? She took let me step back. She took her son to a dentist appointment and he had cavities and she was mortified. He's young. He's too young to have these cavities. How could this happen? And so she was blaming herself. And her sister in spirit knew that. And at that dinner table the night before the session, she told all her kids, we're not having gummies anymore. These are not our snacks anymore. They're too much sugar. And the kids were kind of bummed. And so she would reward them with gummies. She's like, no more gummies. And the sister was like, no, there's vegan ones. There's good, healthy ones out there. So that, because she was feeling so bad, like I'm the one who caused these, the dental issues. I'm the one that's giving them too much sugar, or I need to feed them healthier. And the sister's like, just give them the vegan ones, but make sure that you tell them that I'm the one that says it's okay, so that she can have kudos. What else was interesting is she talked about the connection she had with her son, her sister's son. And her sister's son is younger, and he talked about hearts, about hearts, hearts, hearts. Well, he had just made her a Valentine's heart, like a card. And she's like, I'm just going to keep this up in my kitchen because it's just so beautiful. But he talks to her as if she's there. It's like, like if an aunt or an uncle comes over and plays with the child and they had so much fun, they're like, oh, I want to make this card for her. That's what it felt like. Like he had been playing and having time with his aunt, that he wanted to give something back to her. And so they have a connection. That child is so intuitive, and not to enforce it, but just to allow it. And by her allowing and telling her children, this is the norm, this is okay, our loved ones are all right, she's teaching them that when I cross over, you're going to humanly be sad because you miss me, you love me physically, you miss me, but I'm fine, I'm good, I'm always around you. And so she's kind of carrying the torch for her children now to teach them. And she's like, is this okay if I talk to her child this way? I don't know if she wants me to do this. I don't want to cross boundaries. I don't want to do anything. And she said, well, what if the tables were reversed? Would you want me to not share things with your children and just only share it with mine? And that was like, oh, no, no. So every time I do these sessions, I have a itch on my nose or tingling in my face, and I swear spirit is always messing with me. And I'm like, I can't stop the recording every time just to scratch my face. And it's like, I just have to laugh because you'll notice on these recordings that it's like, oh my gosh, I have another itch. They just want to be part of this. And so that's their way of bothering me to let you guys know that they're here. So I was so grateful with that reading session. And I just wanted to share because you never know what it means. Like, had I just wrote dove feathers and not put the quail feathers, I would have missed out on both giving them a meaning. Had I not said, like the orange, like that's a weird color. I don't know if I'm going to say anything. It was so significant to her. So when we hear from our loved ones, and it's a thought that comes into your mind that you would not think of, write it down, because it could have meaning to you. It could come full circle for you, where somebody's like, tells you later something about your loved one, and that was something favorite, and now you're like, I never knew that, and that came through to me this morning. It will show you. It's like seeing the word joy, right? I heard the word joy come through to me today. Okay, I see joy, I'll feel joy. Well, then I'm driving in my car and I come to a stop sign, and in front of me, there's a car that has the word joy on it. Now they've placed that in my vision twice. It wasn't just me feeling that or seeing that. They're getting my attention. Feel the joy, have joy, have a joyful day, bring in joy. So pay attention to these. And if they don't make sense to you, write them down, let them evolve. But if it comes more than once, one or two times, then own it. Say thank you. Thank you. Okay, so moving right along, we're going to do another testimonial for a healing session. This was a distant, like all of mine are, but so it was a private one just for her. And she says, now I've got 3 emails from her. So one was as she wanted to write it to me, what she felt as the session was taking place. So she hadn't listened to the recording yet. And remember, I don't know anything about these people when I do a session. I just want their picture. I don't want to know anything. And I always ask, what did you feel on your end when the session was taking place? Do they feel energy? Do they feel tingling? Do they feel emotional? Did they feel tired? Did they feel nothing at all? It's just interesting for me to learn and see how everybody is so different and everybody feels something different, and how they might feel exactly how I feel at that same time, and as it's taking place, and go, oh my gosh, I felt like I was going to throw up, and she was feeling the same way. So it's important that we have these connections and see how God really works through us, and how energy travels instantly so far away that she's feeling the same thing I'm feeling at that same moment. So, what she wrote while the session was taking place, she says, thank you so much. Oh, I can't wait to listen to the tape. Throughout the whole session, my head, mouth, and sometimes my throat was tingling. My chest was tight most of the time. And at the end, a sharp pain was there and also in my arm. So then she goes, I'm a bit nervous to listen to the session. So now she starts her session. So the second email was after she listened to the recording. So now she's going to lay down. Sorry, got a little tickle in my throat. Now she's going to lay down and relax and receive and listen to it. So this is what she says after. I just don't know what to say. I'm completely blown away. You mentioned so many things that were on point, so many things that I'm going to take the time to process it all. I like that. She knew that there was so much, but that she just needed time, and healing takes time. If it's emotional, we have to process it. We might have to cry about it. We might have to release it. So I didn't want her to feel like she had to write everything down to me right away. So she was being truthful and honest to herself. Like, I just need to process it all. And healing is a process. It takes time, and we might have to feel to heal, cry. We might need to write things down. We might feel something heal instantaneously, and it might take time, might take months, might take a week. I never know. It's all in God's hands, divine time. So then I received a third email. In the third email, she says, I did feel all the dental work that you were working on. My lip tingled just like it did when you go to the dentist. Crazy. And so I say, when God does a healing, he'll go to even the smallest thing to something that's really, really major happening in your body. So it's like taking your car in for a tune-up. You're taking your body, your car, your instrument, and allowing God to look at everything throughout. So she goes on, I have bursitis in my right hip, and that is where a lot of the work was done yesterday. It's a little sore this morning. Okay, so I want to talk about that. It's a little sore this morning. Sometimes God wants us to feel where the healing was taking place. And you might feel sore, you might feel tired. It's not to make you feel like, oh no, I went backwards and now I have more pain. No, it's making you aware that something really took place. Something really happened. I usually kind of say it's like if you went in for a physical surgery in a hospital, you wouldn't just come home and go, okay, I'm all better, everything's fine. So some things God wants you to feel to heal. So she was sore that morning in that area that was worked on. So she needed to be kind and honor her body and nurture herself. So she also says, my stomach felt like I had done about 2,000 sit-ups. I'm sure it was from the work of cleaning up the scar tissue and the hormones. I do remember them down in this area because she explained to me that she had a hysterectomy 15 years ago, and her hormones have been screwed up ever since. And so when I felt all this area that was being worked on, my stomach became very, very tight. And I can remember getting up to blow out the candles, from the healing table, going, oh, wow, my tummy feels like I've done sit-ups. So it was amazing that she felt the same way even the next day. And God had his spiritual surgeons in there cleaning up the scar tissue from that hysterectomy, so it wasn't going to give her any more issues moving forward. So they'll even go to past injuries, which is amazing. So not only what you're dealing with now, but something that you had done in years before. And she said, my thyroid hasn't been right for years. And I went to the thyroid as well. It was a lot of hormonal things. And she goes, to be honest, I really didn't have no idea what to expect. I have known something was wrong with me mentally. I was just coming unplugged. I'm sure most of it's hormonal, menopause, life, but today I feel better than I have felt in a long, long time. And that's what it's all about. How can we feel better? And the words that come through are so profound, but yet they can be simple, that they have meaning to you and they don't have meaning to me, but it makes everything comes together as a whole, spiritually, emotionally, physically. But the words that come through for you, it touches you to the core so that you're able to go, wow, that makes sense. And you're able to release it, surrender it, and let go of it and heal from it. Her father came through during that session. And she says 10 years ago, she had a reading with me with her father, who had recently passed at that time. So when the father came in to the healing session, and I said it got really cold and that he was at my feet, but on the right side. She said 10 years ago, when I had the session with her in the reading session, she said, those were exactly what you said. And that he would watch over me and be at the right foot of my bed. So he was coming through with the exact same, letting her know I haven't left. I'm still there, even 10 years ago. How beautiful is that? She did say, I'm sorry that it was so cold, because at her house it was 62 degrees. So I was probably feeling some of the temperature from her room, as well as her father when she enters. Many times when spirit enters, I get this chill that goes through me that becomes undeniable, where they're just saying, we're here. And that's how they connect with me. But the session was beautiful on all levels. And sometimes healing will take a process. So she may have healed from some things right away, and other things will take time. So when you have a healing session, just open your mind and your heart and your soul to receive, and know that you're worthy of receiving, and that don't be hard on yourself or disappointed. Because some people think that everything has to happen right now, right away, or I don't believe. I'm not going to believe that this worked. Well, God likes us to stand in our faith, and it's all about his time, the divine time when things are going to take place for you. So trust that. Trust the healing, trust that's a process, and trust that you were healed and that you're whole and God loves you. And that's how I want to end it today, is out of love, that you are so loved and God does love you. And I say, God bless. Have a beautiful day.